bit pretentious, really. No, I'm sort of into a lot of indie sounds. Arcade Fire is probably my compulsion at the moment. Things like that, you know, The National, who are playing here soon. I can't wait. All kinds of good things coming out, I reckon, if you look for it.
Now, I am brilliant at identifying where people are from.
Yes, okay, here we go.
You are from abroad.
Certainly, yes. 100% so far.
Tokyo? No, where are you from?
How did you know?
I know, I'm amazing, aren't I? Where are you from?
I'm from New Zealand
You're
originally.
from New Zealand, okay. And is there good music in New Zealand? Is there a big music scene?
Definitely, yes. It's just getting better and better, in my opinion. And if you are ever feeling like checking it out, I'd go hard, definitely.
Yeah. And I obviously have become a massive fan of Flight of the Conchords. Mm-hmm. You must all be very proud in New Zealand.
I'll tell you what, the xenophobia is rife, but anyway, I think it's a cracking show as well.
Oh, it's fantastic, isn't it? If you've not seen Flight of the Conchords, it's currently, I think, on, is it BBC 4 or something? And it's made for HBO, and so the Flight of the Conchords, who did bizarrely have a kind of BBC radio show, are this kind of sort of mock folk duo, and it's a kind of gently surreal programme, and they write just the most fantastic songs, and I'm genuinely not a fan of the comedy song, but they just have, there's something about what they do, and they're so charming, and it's such a brilliant programme, and I heartily recommend anyone to check it out. And New Zealanders everywhere should be deeply proud of the show, having, you know, given us so much. They can add that to the list. And so you come from New Zealand, but you presumably aren't calling from there now.
No, unfortunately.
Where do you live now?
I'm in East Putney in London.
And what do you do that allows you to remain in the country?
Well, so far not a lot, to be honest. Oh yeah, I know. Don't go calling immigration. No, I've been here for about 3.5, 4 weeks or so. So sort of just doing the old temp thing, which does my head in, as I'm sure you can imagine. Yeah.
No, well, we need people to do that. So thanks for coming over and sorting that out for us.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's
thank you. We've got a lot of call centres. If you are out there in another country and you need to come over, you're looking for work, by all means come. We need people to just do work in call centres or sort of take the rubbish in, stuff like that. Work in pubs. So if you're out there, by all means, welcome. We welcome you all. Thank you very much indeed for coming over, Gareth. We really appreciate it. And what tune have you chosen for us?
I've chosen a song by M. Ward, and it's a cover of David Bowie's Let's Dance, which, it's very, well, it's a bit, I don't know what that brings to mind, or if you're familiar with his work, but it's...
Well, M. Ward, it comes out of the sort of American alt-country scene, am I right in saying?
You are, indeed.
And, well, I mean, this sounds like Let's Dance and a cover version.
That's what I'm hoping.
Let's hear it. M. Ward doing his version of David Bowie's Let's Dance, and it's the choice of Gareth, who has got in touch. And Gareth, thank you very much. Are you still there, man?
I sure am, yes.
And thank you very much indeed, because that is exactly what I look for in a cover version, where it takes a tune which has become over-familiar and reinvests it with some meaning and some emotion. So thank you for recommending that. Tick.
Not just saying that to spare my feelings. You sure you liked it?
No, I did. I enjoyed it very much. And we were just saying, actually, that it's quite impressive that you've only been in the country about 4 weeks, and yet you've already managed to get a song on the Steve Show. You know, people queue up for at least 8 weeks to get a song on, but you've done great work. So thank you very much indeed. I hope you continue to listen to Six.
Oh, yes, you haven't put me off quite yet, no.
Thank you very much, excellent. We appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed for getting in touch.
All right, cheers.
Cheers, man. All the best. And so if you want to get in touch, and you can do that very straightforwardly by going to the website and hunting around on there for information. We need to play more live music recorded at the Electric Proms, which you'll hear in 1 second. From their 1996 debut album, Beautiful Freak, that's Eels and Novocaine for the Soul on the Steve Show, BBC Six Music, with me, Stephen Merchant, and my cronies. Now we should just take care of a little bit of business. Last week we had novelist Matt Thorne in the studio. He was talking to us about recent Booker Prize nominees, and he assigned homework to us all. We each had to take a book and read it and offer a little book report this week. I'm looking forward to the book reviews. I've been reading Animals People by Indra Sinha. You can see it here, and excellent it is too as well, and I can give you a full breakdown of that in a moment. But prior to that, I look forward to now, Harry, what was the book that you were recommended?
It was a book by someone called Anne Enright. I think it actually won the Booker.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't remember the title now.
Sure, what do you make of it?
Well, the thing is, Steve, I work in a bank, I work quite long hours, I've got quite a pressurised job, you see.
Sure, well, you need to unwind with a good book, I'd have thought.
Well, you'd have thought that, but, I can't unwind. I need the numbers spinning around my brain, otherwise the next day I'm useless.
Well, that sounds insane. I mean, what kind of a man can't take a little breather to stimulate the mind in other ways?
What can I say? I'm an animal. I need numbers and words, you see, don't really do it for me. But, I read a review of the book and it said it was incredibly depressing and harrowing.
Yeah.
But the review also said it's got the best last sentence of any novel that this reviewer had ever read. So I sent one of my minions out at lunchtime, I can't go out at lunchtime, to take a picture on their phone of the last sentence and text it to me. So I've read the last sentence. Doesn't look that good.
Well, hang
so
on.
I'm guessing the rest of the book wasn't that great.
Let me just rewind for a second because I'm not sure I'm following everything. Are you telling me you haven't read the book?
I've not read the book.
Right. Okay, you could have mentioned that perhaps a bit quicker instead of offering this lame excuse about that you like numbers or something.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all busy, we've all got busy lives, but you have made a commitment to this show and apparently you're not willing to fulfil those commitments.
Yeah.
So that just seems a bit slack.
What have you done this week?
Busy. One of the things I've been doing is reading this book, Animals, People by Indra Sinha, because that was obviously a key element of the show. But I'm right, if you've not read the book, fine, I'll turn to Sammy, get her views on the book that she's read. What was the book that you were given, Sammy?
I can't remember.
Sorry, what do you mean you can't remember? Because you just look in your bag, you must have the book with you, because you've been reading it presumably on the train on that sort of long journey you get every week from Newcastle. So what have you... What do you make of the book? You can't remember the title, but what did you make of it?
It was really big.
Right.
What happened, Steve, right?
So hang on, let's just cut to the chase. Did you read the book or not?
Right, what happened?
Because let me just point this out, right? I seem to remember that some months ago, right, you were sat up in Newcastle, you'd not done much radio, you'd not really been involved, and then you won a little competition where we chose you, we paid for you to come down to London and here and hang out with the big boys, the big girls of the BBC, alright, in a building which has seen the likes of Terry Wogan, Mr. Christopher Evans, Mr. Jonathan Ross walk through the doors. I believe earlier in the building, Kylie Minogue was here, as was Doctor Who David Tennant. That's what I saw as I came in on the sheet of paper. So that's just some of the big wigs who were here. And yet, amazingly, it seems only a few months later, you cannot even find the time to read the book you have been assigned for the show, which is now making you one of Facebook's contributors. Alright, so what's the story?
Right, what happened was, my tooth got ripped out on Monday, so I was convalescing until Wednesday afternoon.
Convalescing sounds like time to read a book.
You'd think. So, I went out with my mum on Wednesday. We went to a really big bookstore, and I could only remember the name of the book that I was meant to read, and I picked it up, and it was a beast. It was an absolute beast, and I thought, right, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read The Gun Thief, because that was a recommended book, and that's fine, that's a book, I'll read the book, I'll still review a book, because I can't get through that between now and Sunday, there's just no way at all.
No, of course not, no.
They didn't have that. I was like, that's fine, it was the best side, it's Copeland, I'll get it at a supermarket tonight. I went to 2 supermarkets, 12% of one of the bookshelves filled with only Jeremy Clarkson, I have to add. It had none of the books on. I couldn't find any of them, so I thought, right, panicking now. Do you need to read something before the weekend? Any of them will do. At least I'll review a book. Went to another bookstore. Nothing. It got to the point where I was getting on the train this morning, went to the bookstore in the station, in Central Station, a famous bookstore, and they didn't have a single one of the books. None of the 4. And not even Copeland.
I'll be honest with you, I'm searching around in that for an excuse. And so far I haven't seen one. Apparently you cannot get any books in the north. That's what I seem to have found. And apparently also not in London, is what I've heard from that. Frankly, it's a shambles. It's a shambles. What happened with your tooth? That was making it so agonising. That's horrible. Why don't bring... what happened then? How did it go, the tooth business?
I was doing a medical trial, so I think I was actually given the drug because it was a double blind. So I didn't know whether I was getting the drug or the placebo. And I went a little bit spacey for a while, to the point where when they were starting to do the stuff on my mouth, I was laughing. So I think that was actually quite good. Right. But then it all got a bit scary, and I asked permission to cry. And then soon...
I think you're just allowed, aren't you? I
think so. But because I was lying on my back, I had tears in my ears. And I couldn't...
Tears in your ears?
I was thinking of a Tears for Fears song because there were tears in my ears. And it all got dead confusing in my mind, to the point where when she took the tooth out, I immediately went into shock. So it wasn't a great Monday. So I was like shaking and crying. And the dental nurse was going, if Ewan McGregor was here, you wouldn't be crying. And I'm thinking, that's so random. And
if Ewan McGregor wasn't here?
If Ewan McGregor was here, you wouldn't be crying.
Is that the only sort of young person's film star that she's heard of?
I don't know. I was just watching. She kept coming out with really odd stuff. But anyway, so that was a bit scary. And then I kept spitting blood into a carrier bag for like the best part of 2 days.
Yeah.
I was feeling sorry for myself, sucking powdered potato off a spoon.
Yeah. I mean, it's... I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of questions now floating around in my head, a lot of thoughts. Are you coming back next week? being the chief one.
You should blame my mum, because she was sent out to get said book on Friday, and she sent me a text message.
Well, your mother didn't volunteer to be on the radio, did she? As far as I can recall. So, hang on. Harry's let us down. He's been a school friend for years. He knows, he's been here, but he's let me down. Sammy, she won a competition. She's just lucky to even be in London, but she's let me down. Super Posh Rufus, you've got a fan site. Have you let me down, mate?
Steve, what do you think, mate?
Of course you bloody haven't, mate. I can see the book right there. Round of applause for him. Come on. Listen, we'll play a tune. We're going to come back with your book review. And do you know what? As a little reward, I'm going to allow you to plug your current TV show.
Thanks.
All right? Oh, God. Well, do you know what? Quickly, because no one's interested in you anymore, Harry.
Well, I'd already doubled my workload for the week, so I'd already picked an obscure indie nonsense track, and then I had to pick another pop track, which I heard first when I was 12 years old when it came out, and I loved it, and I never bought it, and then for years I couldn't find it anywhere, and I went to a record fair, and I bought 3 copies of it once, because I really love it, and it's one of my favourite songs, and it's by George Harrison. Well, this version is Got My Mind Set on You.
Reading a review of the recent Eric Clapton autobiography, and of course Clapton famously worked hard to steal away George Harrison's wife in the early 70s, and I currently feel like I know how George Harrison must have felt. Betrayed, let down, disappointed by a person he thought was a friend.
Yeah.
I feel a bit like the American people when Richard Nixon had been involved in Watergate. Again, betrayed, let down. I feel like Carl Barrett when he found Pete Doherty nicking his guitars or whatever in his house. Again, a friend has betrayed and let me down. Do you know why? Because I'm looking at you, Harry, I'm looking at you, Sammy, and I'm seeing just darkness behind your eyes.
Steve, the BBC wouldn't have paid for the books. We wouldn't have been paid by the hour for reading the books. We're busy people.
Let me see. There's one person in the room who seems to have found the time, and it's Rufus. Little round of applause again. This is the reason he has his own fan page.
He's an actor, he doesn't do anything.
This is the reason he has a fan page. What is the book, Rufus, that you... sorry, guy, I don't want to put you on the spot, mate, but, what do you currently make of these two? What's your opinion of them? Colleagues. Friends, colleagues.
Well... Yeah, colleagues.
Professionals? Would you say professionals?
Colleagues are people who work in the same place that you do.
Hey, can we have a... Can we have a high five?
Do I have it?
Oh, right over my head. That makes
Two
you feel
slackers high five. Let's chat about what was on Jeremy Kyle this week, which you're probably sat around watching in your pants.
Yeah. Do you know what? You're like the drummer and the bassist in a given band. You're contributing nothing, but you want half the cash. Oh,
can I have half the
it's
cash?
like Rourke and Joyce.
I thought, give me an eighth of the cash, and I'll read every book that's ever been written.
Ooh, hang on. Ooh. Look at that. Now the truth's coming out. Interesting.
The book is Ian McEwan's On Chesil Beach.
Right.
You've got 2 options. The listeners have 2 options. But Steve, I'm going to leave it to you. You get the Radio 4 bit where I read out the review that I've written. Or I get to talk through the review in a chatty way and you get to ask questions during it.
I'm quite intrigued to hear what you've written, because I love the fact you've actually typed something out.
Yeah.
It's magnificent. There you are. That's actual homework.
Yeah.
A page of A4. Well, time's against us, so maybe...
maybe Sammy and Harry could read it out.
No. You've done the work, man. You should take the glory.
No, I'm embarrassed to read it out, and I'm going to paraphrase it.
You sure? I really would like to hear it read out.
Really?
As Bob Dylan.
Well, paragraph 1 is Bob, paragraph 2 Nelson Mandela.
Definitely.
No, just read it out in your best voice, your best posh
I'm
voice.
now embarrassed that I've announced on it. McEwan, I'm too embarrassed. McEwan is a master of the closely observed moment. That's how it begins.
Oh, that's magnificent. It starts so beautifully. It can only get better.
From the events of one evening or a day, he can construct a narrative which shows exactly the situation as it is, give the reasons for it happening with a series of flashbacks, and show the consequences.
Listen, mate, this is dynamite. But what I'm thinking is, because time's against us, you should offer us it in paraphrased version.
Yeah.
We